also diving into some architecture buzz, which is kind of getting a little attention this morning on Reddit. All right, Reddit's subreddit, Chicago. It's been busy this week with everything from skyscraper debates, which I'm a nerd for, as you know, Jake.
Well, we've had some good. Well, I mean, I always say it's such a touristy thing, but the way I genuinely love the architecture tour in the city, like it's the coolest way to walk around with family and friends when they come to visit and go, and just seem like you know what you're talking about.
Completely.
You kind of memorize like 7 to 12 facts about 7 to 12 buildings, and you go.
That's kind of right where I'm at too.
But
Jake, I mean, I'm not going to give away your coordinates or anything, but there's got to be a reason you chose to live where you live.
Right, I've got a
We've
nice
all
view
seen it in the
of,
background of your Zoom interviews from time. You should probably know all the facts of the buildings you see.
And I can just kind of I mean, it's not too dissimilar from what we got behind us.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a pretty great view. All right, so we're going to start with this architecture. This is Chicago, and one Reddit poster posed an interesting question here, and got me thinking: what skyscraper is most influenced by the city's architectural legacy? So there's some examples here. You know, form versus function, how it most creative, best spire, best facade. I don't know where that most wacky one is. Look at that on the side on the left, Jake.
Yeah.
Best shape, most futuristic, and the Hancock Tower, which we now, I guess, we're technically supposed to call it 875 North Michigan, although no one's not going to do that. The Hancock Tower came up among Chicagoans a lot, being described as bold, sleek, instantly recognizable. Some people think the Tribune Tower. Sure. Basically, I feel like I could get behind that one for what Chicago was in like the 1930s and 40s. Yeah. Think Tribune Tower for sure. Or then Aqua now.
Right over there?
Right over here. Yeah. These Jeannie Gang buildings kind of
that in St. Regis.
The St. Regis is a beautiful building. But in your mind, what would you say is the most Chicago skyscraper?
Okay, this is going to be like a roll your eyes, okay, yeah, sure, of course. But I have a very specific reason why I say this. Okay. So I feel like the quintessential building is Sears. And they're Willis. Yeah. But here's why I say, because if you know about the construction of that building, it's not one solid building. Right. It's a bunch of buildings that all connected that collectively move just a little bit because of the weather and the wind and everything. And so you couldn't have a building that tall in one sort of solid piece. So, you don't realize it, but all those little individual tall rectangular shapes are all collectively moving just a little bit. And I feel like that's, in a weird way, kind of poetic to the city, because that's what this city is. It's collectively groups of people all working together and kind of bending and swaying together collectively to form one beautiful function.
Did you think of that?
I swear on my soul I did just now. I didn't even know we were talking about this.
That was so beautiful, it sounds plagiarized.
Honestly, it probably, I swear to God, if you see that anywhere else, I did not look it up and I didn't know that this was a topic we were talking about today because I didn't look at the rundown. I'm sorry, Jenna.
All right, Jenna, I had thought of one earlier, but can I change mine to Jake's answer?
What was yours?
Mine was the Hancock.
Tell me why.
All right, so it's not going to compare to that answer, but I like how it shows its structure.
Sure.
Okay, the X pattern on the outside, that is the infrastructure. That's it's like showing its exoskeleton, and like
it's not ashamed of what it is.
Exactly, and neither are we Chicagoans.
Exactly.
Right? We show who we are. And
see, your answer was just as beautiful and poetic as mine. What are you talking about?
The Sears and the Hancock, they do kind of go hand in hand. I always thought, the Hancock was built in 67 or 69. Sure. Sears came along a couple of years later. I always thought of like Big John as like the Sears is wise old grandpa, and...
Well, what's so funny? It's always interesting, as someone who didn't necessarily grow up here, like I said, I've been here 12 years now, my sort of like introduction into what the Chicago skyline looked like. Any idea of what it would have been in pop culture?
Ferris Bueller?
That would have been a great... For me, it was the opening credits of the ABC sitcom Family Matters.
Oh!
And the opening shot... is coming in across the lake, and you sort of see, and it's the skyline from the lake. But one of the they focus more on that on Hancock. Oh. So that's my quintessential sort of introduction.
If you see like I don't know the shape, it's like a rhombus maybe, or a whatever the shape is. My 7th grade
geometry teacher would be very upset that I don't know.
It's just instantly, because that's another reason why I went with the Hancock, is because it's just so instant. Yeah. Not that the Willis or Sears isn't, but those X's and then the structure of it, it's just so Chicago.
I've never seen, I know you can live there. There are condos in there, and I've always wanted to know, like, I'm assuming they all have sort of that slanted building.
I've never been inside either, up top, but I've seen pictures of there's a pool on one of the upper floors, and you can see, and that's why I love it. You can see like that diagonal.
Again, it wears its heart on its sleeve. It is what it is. It's not trying to cover up anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So those are great answers.
If you have an apartment in Hancock, invite us over. We want to see it.
Exactly. Or send in a photo. And if you don't want creepy guys in Jordan 1s coming over.